Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm out at the range sighting in a rifle with some new hardware on it, some optical hardware. In this case, it's an Armasight thermal imaging sight from OpticsPlanet. It's an OPMOD series. This sight has a resolution of 640 lines per inch. It has a magnification range of 2 power to 16 power, and it has a 42 millimeter objective lens, if you can call it that. This thermal imager is just one in a series of different types of night vision and thermal imaging sights that I want to try out and get a feel for. I have quite a bit of experience with night vision sights, which means basically the sight amplifies the ambient light. Some people call them starlight scopes because they can actually take that faint light given off by stars in the sky and magnify it so much that it can make your surroundings visible to you in what would otherwise seem like pitch black. A thermal imager does the complete opposite, where a night vision sight is really good, obviously, at night. It's not so good during the daylight. You have to put a filter over it to block out all that light so you don't damage the intensifier, and it makes it very hard to see. So typically people take those off for daytime use. A thermal imager, on the other hand, allows you to operate day or night because it's not magnifying light. What it's looking at is heat signatures. It'll turn heat into a visible object on your screen, which is inside the sight itself. There's a number of different ways. Some of you guys have probably seen the predator color, the rainbow color spectrum of thermal imaging from that movie, and that is one option. These sights have many different options in terms of how you can show the contrast between the different heat signatures of whatever it is that you're seeing out in the field. I have this one currently set up to show black is hot, so what that means is the hotter the object becomes, or the hotter the object is, the darker it is, to the point of pitch black being the warmest thing that you can see through the sight. White objects are less hot. You can reverse that. You can make it so white is hot, so the whiter an object is, the hotter it is. So you have a number of different options, and I'll get into more of those details in another video. I've brought the sight out to put it on my Tavor with a Saker, SilencerCo Saker suppressor on here. I'm going to take this thing out tonight to a buddy's house, and we're going to sit out and look for some coyotes. But I need to get it sighted in. I just received it, and so I haven't sighted it in, and I honestly don't know what the process is yet. I'm going to bring you guys along for that. It has a control panel up on the top of the sight here that you can move through the menu system and stuff like that. Another cool feature is I have a DVR, or video recorder, attached to the side of the thermal sight, so you can actually see what I see through the sight when I'm using it. Anyway, I got to set up the target downrange. I think you'll find that a little bit interesting, and get ready to do some shooting, so let's go. I'm about 25 yards away. I want to make sure I'm close enough to the target that I can get the bullet on the target before I start moving it out to about 100 yards, which is where I ultimately want to zero the sight. I'm going to put up a man-sized target here. Now, because this is a thermal imager, this target is going to look like either a big white or a big black blob. I will not be able to see this IPSC silhouette outline through the sight whatsoever. The only way I could see it is if the ink on the paper was hotter or colder than the paper it was on or the cardboard backing it was on, but it's not. It's the exact same temperature as everything else around it. To give it a heat signature or something to aim at, I have some of these little hottie hand warmers. These things are tremendously useful here in Indiana in the cold winter months, but they're also useful for thermal imaging sights when you try to get them sighted in. So you take these out, you expose them to air, and they warm up. You typically put them in your gloves or your boots or your pockets to keep yourself warm on cold winter days. So I'm going to get this thing going here, get it heating up, and I'm going to staple it to the center of the target, which will make it stand out in the thermal imaging sight. I'll see either a black or white blob here that stands out from the rest of the paper and cardboard behind it. So that's how you sight in a thermal imaging sight. All right, guys, we're all set up. Let's take a few shots out of the Tavor here with the thermal night sight on it, and see how close to zero I am at 25 yards. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the recorder so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, just fired up. Now you can see what I was talking about earlier. That black speck in the middle of the target, that's the hand warmer. All right, hopefully you guys can see that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in once here. You can see I have a white reticle. Now you can pretty clearly see that hand warmer. All right, I'm going to fire one around here, see where it hits. Look at that. You can see the bullet hole. All right. Looks like you can see the bullet hole with the thermal imager. That's pretty cool. That bullet's imparting enough heat onto the paper that you can actually see it. It increases the temperature of the paper right where it passes through. I guess that isn't all that surprising given how hot the bullet probably is, even at 25 yards. It's going to be pretty warm, surface temp anyway. Let's fire one more shot. Yeah, I can definitely see that bullet hole. So it looks like it's grouping at about the 3 o'clock position, and it's just a couple inches off. All right. Now let's go into the menuing system here. Let's see if I can find how to adjust the point of impact. Here we go, bore sight, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so I should come to the left ever so slightly. Let's see if this works. Pretty fine adjustments. All right, I'm going to come up just a little bit. Actually, maybe that's about right. All right, let's go ahead and see what that does. Exit out of here. All right, let's fire one more shot here and see if it comes any closer to being centered on that hand warmer. If I hit it, it's going to probably break open. I'm not going to have too much of a target left over. All right, here we are at the 25-yard line. You can see my first group here. And I made the incorrect adjustment for windage, which was a value of -8. I brought it over to a value of +7. And it was almost center, left to right of the hand warmer, just a little bit low. Now I am at 25 yards. Point of impact should be just a little bit low anyway. Now that I'm pretty much on target, I'm going to move it a little further back, go to 50 yards, confirm 0, and then slowly move it back to 100 yards. All right, so I think I may be having a bit of a technical difficulty with my little recorder that's on the side. When I fire a shot, it reboots the recorder. I'm gonna have to take a look at things, take it back to the house, and see if I've set something up incorrectly. So I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this time out what I see through the thermal imager. I hope that you can, but it's telling me that I've corrupted a file every time I fire the gun. So anyway, another thing I thought was pretty cool that I've discovered. Originally, I didn't think I'd be able to see the IPSC outline on the paper, but that's not true. Through the thermal imager, I can see the outline of the target, the actual ink, which is pretty neat. It must mean that, you know, this thermal imager is so sensitive that the ink is a slightly different temperature than the paper it's printed on, and it's giving me the faintest of outlines, but I really don't need the hand warmer, at least not at 25 yards. Let's take a look at it at 50 yards here. Okay, I don't see as much detail now at 50 yards. As a matter of fact, I'm even having a hard time. Oh, you know what? My hand warmer fell off. All right, I can see the center of the target. Now, this ring on the end allows me to focus the sight. I haven't cranked out to infinity. Back off the magnification here just a little bit. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quarter the target, since now I can't see the ink. At 25 yards, I could see it. At 50, I'm not seeing it. And let's see if I can hit the man size somewhere in the center here. I don't have a very precise aiming point, so the group size isn't going to be all that impressive. The sight's really comfortable. This little eyepiece does a good job of blocking out the sunlight and ambient light in the area so it doesn't wash out the screen. I have a nice clear image of the target area. Okay, I'm again seeing the bullet holes appearing in the paper through the thermal imager. That's pretty impressive. Looks like it's pretty centered. All right, I have to say that's awesome. Okay, 50 yards. You can see where the hand warmer was. I knocked it off the paper somewhere between here and the 25-yard line. And here's the group I just fired. So it's about an inch high, and maybe an inch, the center of the group, maybe an inch to the right. So I'm gonna come back to the left, 1 or 2 more clicks, and I'm probably gonna bring it down a couple of clicks. I imagine by the time I get to 100 yards, it's gonna be up here. But again, really easy to sight in. Kind of digging this thing. All right, so I've moved the target back to 100 yards. I've set up my spotting scope over here so I don't have to run down range every time I want to check the target. But surprisingly, I was seeing the bullet holes in the target. Those 3 rounds I just fired actually hit the hand warmer right at the top in a nice little group. So the sight's definitely working, and it's working well. Let's go ahead and see where we're at 100 yards. Go ahead and hit record here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. Looks like it's recording. Now we're at 4 power. I'm going to bump it up 1 more. That puts us at 8 power. You can see the resolution goes down. We're not really magnifying the image. What we're doing is digitally zooming in. So the more you zoom in, the more pixelated the image becomes, which you guys should be able to see in the recording here. All right. All right, let's fire a couple rounds, see where we end up here. Got that Geissele trigger in here, and it's freaking awesome. All right, so we're definitely high. Looks like we're about 4 more inches high, so I can adjust it here while I'm recording. Now I'm going to go with what I did last time and do the opposite of what I think I should be doing. I think I got to hold this down longer than I'm holding it down. There we go. All right, go down to bore sight. Okay. So I'm thinking, keeping in line with my last adjustment, it looks like it might be just a little bit to the left. I'm going to leave it alone though. I'm going to go up, which seems the opposite of what I need to do, but that's based upon my last attempt at adjusting it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's see what that does. Gave it an input value of 4. Wish I quit doing that. All right, let's see where these shots land. Hopefully it went down and not up. Yep, perfect. It is just a little bit left. All right, so I will come back to the right just a hair. And I think we have this thing zeroed, guys. Go back into my bore sight menu. Go down there. All right, so my elevation was spot on. Let's go to windage. Come right. Yeah. What, 2 clicks? I don't know. Let's try that. All right, let's see where this puts us. Hopefully I have enough ammo. All right. Bingo. We are zeroed, I do believe. All right. I don't think we can ask for any better than that. So 100 yards, I'm hitting a little 1-inch square. So consider me happy. All right, let's stop the recording, run down range. All right, guys, there we are. You can see the final group right there. Right there. Not too bad. You can see when I was just a little bit left and moved it over and hit right here, those 3 shots. That's where I was hitting before. Right here, brought it down. Yeah, that thing's really easy to get sighted in. I thought it'd be a little bit more complicated. Really, really simple. Well, it looks like I have the rifle sighted in now with the Armasight Zeus optic here, and I'm ready to go out and do some hunting this evening. We're going to go out to a buddy's house, as I mentioned. We're going to look for some coyotes, see what we can find. It'll be the first time I've actually used a thermal sight in such a situation. What I'm hoping to be able to do is scan the wood line and see any signs of life out there and let us know if we're being successful in calling in the coyotes or not. You can sit out there for an hour or more with a call waiting for them to come in and never see a thing. They're very smart animals. They'll come in, they may catch a whiff of you and run off, but they try to keep cover and concealment as they come in looking for whatever it is that's making the noise. And so hopefully the thermal imager gives me a bit of an advantage over night vision in that regard. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there tonight and playing with it. Now, these things aren't inexpensive. I know some of you guys are concerned about some of the things I review on the channel being really, really expensive. But what attracted me to the site is the fact that the prices have really come down on thermal imagers. It wasn't that long ago, a site like this would have set you back 20, 30 grand. You can pick these things up now depending on the resolution. This is a 640, but you can get them 320s and other resolutions. Depending on the resolution, you can pick them up for $4,000 to $8,000, depending on how you have them configured and what options they have. So they're not out of the realm of possibilities for more shooters. Yes, they're still very expensive, but you know what? The prices are coming down as the technology starts to proliferate more and more shooters are buying these sites and more companies are bringing them to market. The prices will continue to come down. And who knows, maybe we'll see good quality sites like this in the $2,000 price range in the not too distant future. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in the video, of course you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. I'll put a link down below. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do that is to shop at Copper Custom, our online store. Have a lot of cool products at really good prices. Again, I'll put a link to that down in the description below. You'll also find that I'm posting my videos early on Full30.com. If you guys aren't aware of Full30.com, I'll put a link down below, but please go check it out. I think you'll like it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.